As a McGowan, you have a sense of responsibility. Embracing the legacy, honoring my aunts and uncles, and realizing the importance of doing good to others in our community.
It's important that we keep the legacy of our founders, of that first generation, and think about the core values that were important to them. To really set your trajectory for the future, you have to be able to look at the past and understand where you've been.
The fund began with the passing of William G. McGowan. He was my uncle. It was funded in February of '93. The major key players were Monsignor Andrew J. McGowan, my uncle, Lenore McGowan-Rossica, my aunt, and then Sue was my Uncle Bill's wife.
When we were established, it was not a family foundation. That changed really at the desire of Father Joe. He invited all of the nieces and nephews to just be on the McGowan Fund board. And that was really to honor the family.
Father Joe was interested in bringing the families closer together, and he brought to the board a vast knowledge of charitable undertakings. He was very, very much involved, not only in fundraising for the local charities and nationwide charities, but also in helping to manage them.
We just naturally had some great leaders to help focus the foundation. Sue Jen was as interesting as Bill McGowan. Her empire and what she had accomplished and how she did things was as unique as Bill was.
Sue Jen was quite a dynamic personality. She was well established in business long before she and Bill ever met. If she wanted to get something done or to get an organization supported, it happened. I think she was very good at keeping Bill's legacy in the forefront.
My mother, Lee, she was thrilled to be on the board. She was very involved in the initial McGowan Scholars program that we had set up. She loved carrying out the legacy of her brother, who she obviously loved dearly and missed very much. My mother and Sue and Father Joe, they had this optimism that, of course we'll do it. Of course we'll figure it out. Of course we'll come up with an answer. And of course we will improve things and come up with a better way that will help a lot of people. It was just in their DNA.
They really did make a pretty powerful triangle. And it was really almost like having little pieces of Bill in the room. Some of the greatest challenges our board faced was when we lost board members.
The passing of Sue Jen McGowan was very difficult. She was the last of the generation, and she did it all. She was the president, the chairman, the secretary, the treasurer. So then with her passing, we all just kind of looked around the room and, we said, what do you do now?
At first, it was a bit chaotic. Everyone was deeply engaged and said, we have to take care of this right now. However, there was a learning process of governance. We spent time going through governance training for them.
The second generation called baptism by fire. We jumped in and figured out how we're going to organize, operate, and move forward despite the big loss.
I think we all collectively felt that sense of responsibility because we all started to interact and think and behave and decide things in a way that we had never done before. We needed to move forward in the direction that we were charged with, and that was preserving the fund, continuing to do the work, improve the work, get clearer.
It's been an evolution and a focusing of how do we want to spend our money and how do we want to make sure that the money we're spending is more effective.
The work has evolved through no longer are we doing a shotgun blast. We have distinct pillars of areas of emphasis. So it's just constant evolution of how to handle, in essence, a challenge.
We're not shy about some entrepreneurial approaches to solving some of the problems that we address. If you see anything written about Bill, the word entrepreneur was a frequently used term. So I think he'd be very proud of what we're doing.
He was always think outside of the box. Don't even go near the box. We need to remember our roots, remember our humble beginnings, and I think we need to be creative in our grant making. Sometimes be willing to take that leap of faith. Sometimes be willing to believe in the Bill McGowans who have crazy pie-in-the-sky dreams.
There are a lot of projects that we could undertake that at this point we really don't know whether they're going to be successful or not successful. But sometimes you learn as much about something from a failure as you do a success. Bill was never concerned that you might make a mistake. His biggest concern was that you do something.
His philosophy was movement. You always have to move forward. The foundation has gifted over $138 million to various organizations across regions. I think my Uncle Bill would be very proud of some of the achievements that we've accomplished.
He would be pleased that we were doing good with the money that he made. For him, it was never about making money. For him, it was about making a difference. It was overcoming a challenge. And so in many ways, we emulated that.
We're very proud of what we've accomplished, not only with the people that we've touched, but we've continued telling the story of who Bill McGowan was. One of the best things we can do is to remember how Bill McGowan operated and his ability to make a change. And if we keep that in mind as we grow, that will keep us on a steady path.